Can hear you. What if the fake news canceled the world's most beloved heroes? When a tragic attack ends the lives of precious innocents, our most celebrated heroes find themselves blamed and canceled by the media that once glorified them. Now in hiding, will they be able to trust each other long enough to prove their innocence? Well, they better fight as hard as they can, because if they don't, an even bigger tragedy is coming. And this time, it will cost millions of lives. Truth, Justice, American Way, the 64-page full-color graphic novel. Get yours today, only on Indiegogo. Welcome, and it's Friday, September 23rd. Guys, fall is here. I know in San Diego it doesn't mean much. The weather stays the same pretty much all year. It's beautiful weather. We had a little heat the end of August. You heard me complaining. We got up to like 80 degrees here. It was very sad for San Diego, but we made it. I didn't know if we were going to make it through, but we did make it. I have a great guest today, guys. I'll shut up about the weather. You don't care about that. It's Irene Stracholski. When I get into that last name, I'm like, am I going to make it through that name? And I do every time. I amaze myself. She is here. She's promoting her awesome looking book, Fiendish 2. And Fiendish 1 was already a hit, and Fiendish 2 is taking off like a rocket. Welcome, Irene. How you doing this Friday morning?
I'm good. Hello. Thanks for having me.
Right. So, you said it's kind of a lazy Friday for you. Did you have a busy week, or how was it going this week for you?
Oh, really busy. It's been nonstop work for like 2 weeks.
Right.
Promoting the book, and then I think I've been streaming every day and catching up on a bunch of work. So it's been really crazy. And I think I'm just a little just flopping around this morning. Like, I can keep going. I got this, but all's good.
I feel you on that, because I was on Kings on Monday. I do my show Players Club Tuesday. I do my show Double Impact Wednesday. I had Andy Smith on yesterday. Having you on today. Working on the book for Young Rip, ISOM 2. Working on Beef Law for myself. And I feel you on like such a busy week. So this morning, you said you were flopping around. I sat and had coffee. I usually have my coffee before I get to work. But I think for almost an hour, I sat and had coffee and watched nonsense YouTube videos on my little kitchen iPad. That's my morning ritual. But I extended it this morning because it's like, thank goodness it's Friday. So let me ask you about that. Do you keep a normal Monday through Friday, or since you're freelance, you're working on the weekends a bunch too, or what?
It kind of doesn't make a difference for me. It's just, during the weekends, I don't have the day job, but yeah, I basically don't have weekends.
Right. I made a decision about a year ago or a little more to never work on Sundays. And it really changed things for me. So I don't look at email. I don't look at social media mostly. I don't do nothing on Sunday but get in the car with my wife and go somewhere. Drive up to Los Angeles, drive up to the mountains. We've been to Mexico to go to lunch and stuff. It's not far from here. Obviously, we're on the border. But that was awesome. If you can afford it, I would say do it. I know your schedule's insane, but I just made room for it, and it was life-changing.
Oh, that sounds really nice.
It's nice. It's really nice. Sunday's just like our day, and we're not doing all the crap, because it's easy to get caught up, especially Comicsgate, independent books. It's easy to get caught up in always working, and as the great artist you are, you can burn out. You can burn out and start to resent the work and just feel like you're only going to bed because you're exhausted, and you have to get up and do more stuff again, and that's tough when that starts to happen. So
I've still I'm working out what relaxation means slowly but surely.
Right.
I think it would probably help if I had a family, but I don't yet. So it's sort of just, if I'm not working, I feel like I'm not doing anything with my life, but it's definitely healthy to take some time off, especially if you've got like people you
Right.
live with, and you're not just that crazy person that never talks to your family.
Right. Oh, I wanted to address this comment here. I saw it and I loved it because it was inspiring. From Haifiz Mazuki. Hi, Gabe. I'm currently writing and storyboarding my very own comic. You and young Ripa inspired me and twin brother to take up the pencil and pen as the harbinger of the Iron Age comic. Good. Good. And I would tell
Ooh.
anyone out there, if you have something you want to do, just start today. And if you're feeling like intimidated or worried, is it going to work? Don't be outcome dependent emotionally. Just tell yourself, what can I do today that's a part of this project? And that's it. And just do it. And then be consistent long enough. And then eventually you're like, oh my gosh, I'm this person and I have this project under my belt. But if you're just focused on a goal in life, like invested in it, has to work. It has to work exactly the way I want. It's got to be the art exactly the way I think, the sales the way I think. You're gonna be disappointed. You know what I mean? And that hampers yourself. Do you agree with that, Irene? Or how do you feel about big goals? How do you approach them?
I don't know. I think it's good to be goal oriented, but you also have to be realistic, right?
Right.
I don't think there's nothing wrong with saying, well, I want to finish this page today. But as long as if I'm working all day and I don't finish a page, and I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I used to, and it's really hard as an artist to not do that once in a while. But
Right.
it's important to think, well, I didn't finish this page today, but I did get a lot of work done. And what did I learn? You know, was I working? Were there any shortcuts I could have taken? You know what I mean? And especially
Right.
with the comic, like, don't you shouldn't feel like you're a failure if like a campaign doesn't make a certain amount of money or whatever. I've been trying to set my goals lower with like financial goals, just because I'm like, well, I might as well expect the worst, and if it does better, then I can be happy with myself. But then that kind of has backfired because I haven't been prepared to have this many backers, and it's a really great problem to have, but it's still a
Right.
problem. Yeah. But anyways, I agree with you on the part of, just get to work, and as long as you're getting the work done, and you're making progress, everybody improves at different speeds. So what's
Right.
important is you are improving on yourself.
Right. Yeah, I think you're exactly right. And I would say don't put too much pressure on yourself as far as, again, having these perfect outcomes. That's childish. I don't mean to be insulting, but it's like, I want to be a comic book artist. So if you start making comics, like just say web comics at first, are you a comic book artist? What is the line of demarcation? To me, an artist is anyone that's doing it. I don't really care how successful you are or not, because I know if you stick to it long enough, you will be successful. That's the thing. So when you're first starting out and you're not totally successful, you're still an artist. You might not be the success you want yet, but you still are one. And that's the difference between winners and losers in life, is the people that don't quit. The people that don't go, oh, I played my first game and didn't win the Super Bowl on the first day, so they quit. Like, are you kidding me? Like, it's going to take a long time to build anything with value. So,
I like that.
yeah, and that's what we see here with Fiendish. The first one was a success, and the second one is like, wow, a smash already. How long has this been out? Only like a week and a half, right, or something like that, or
2 weeks. It's
okay,
approaching half a month, 18 days. So yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, and you've already almost doubled your first one, right, as far as sales.
Yeah, we're almost doubled, I think. Just a few more thousand. Once we hit our next stretch goal at 110, then it's gonna be double the first one. It's still very crazy to me.
Right,
A little
right.
unbelievable. But you're absolutely right with the idea of I was going to say, you don't get it, Gabe. Haven't you heard? If you're not working for Marvel or DC or a publisher, you're not a real artist. You're not a real professional. We're not
Well,
in the industry. Don't you understand?
I
None of
would
this
say,
counts.
I would say, hold on, I got to make this a little bit bigger. Take this down. Been there, done that, and got the hats. So you know what I mean. And
Yeah.
no, that is perceived legitimacy. You know what I mean? DC
Yeah.
Comics didn't legitimize me. I legitimize them by giving them my great skills.
Woo.
And they don't pay enough, and they're too woke. So we're done with them.
Dude, like people have no idea. They don't really pay that well. Literally,
No.
working for Marvel or DC is just for the clout, and they expect you to. I mean, I'm not going to complain too much, but that was my experience. They
Right.
expect you to kind of just bend over and be grateful that they give you work. And
Right.
yeah.
Working. Oh, when you say bend over, like, whoa, that reminds me of an insult I heard a guy say once in sports radio, made me laugh so hard. It was an acronym. It was Bohica.
Uh
And I was like, what
huh.
does Bohica stand for? He said, bend over, here it comes again. So that's kind of the experience working in the mainstream because, like you said,
Oh
Reedy,
god.
they know you're doing it for the clouts. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
they know you're a little desperate to be there when you're young. So they can really
Yup.
mistreat you with schedules and pay rates and all that. And again, they don't legitimize you. You know, they don't.
No.
Like I said before, you're an artist when you decide to practice art. And it really
Mm,
doesn't matter how successful you are. You stick to it long enough, you'll be successful, you know?
mm.
And
Truth.
yeah, and we don't need them. They need us. That it's like all abusive
Yes.
relationships that get you in that mind fuck where they're like, oh, if you leave, what's gonna happen to you? You
Oh
know what I
my
mean?
gosh, you're right. They're an abusive relationship.
Absolutely they are.
Yep.
Absolutely they are. I worked in that business long enough to pretty much know to the dollar what people get paid, and
Mm,
it ain't enough. It is
no.
not enough, and it's literally and no crapping on McDonald's or anything. My family owned a restaurant. My dad's a chef. I've worked in kitchens, but if you do the math, drawing, penciling, inking for Marvel and DC, you get paid like less than working at Kentucky Fried Chicken. If you do it by the hour, you
Mhm.
literally are making less money. So
Mhm.
they really are taking advantage of people. So,
Yep.
but let's not get negative. We want to tell fans what they get. Why are they going to be so happy when they get Fiendish? Why is this? I mean, already it's beautiful. We know that right off the bat. But the
Ah,
story
yeah.
and everything, sell us a little bit on it. You got a little 15, 30-second pitch on this, and then we can go into how you came up with this and why you love this stuff. But sell me on Fiendish too a little bit.
Ah, yes. All right. So Fiendish is my fantasy mystery story. Obviously, Fiendish 1 came out last year, did really, really well. And the story premise revolves around my main character, Casimir. He is a sole survivor of a demon attack on his hometown years and years ago when he was a child, and he kind of ran away. He grew up somewhere else. Those demons disappear. Nobody really knows what these creatures were, but years later, as an adult, he encountered one of these mysterious demons again. And in chapter 1, he fought that creature, he defeated it, and he swore that he's going to not run away anymore. He's going to go back to his past and figure out the truth behind where these creatures came from. So this is a continuation of that story, and he sets out on this journey with several like-minded characters. And I'm just expanding on the world and expanding on the character building. I believe in character-driven storytelling, so of course, it's a comic, it's a visual medium, so I have a lot of action, but I also want to take my time with getting everybody to know the characters. I'm not rushing into this. I know there's a lot of world building. I want it to kind of sink in naturally because if people don't know the characters, they don't care about the characters and understand who they are, then why would anyone want to follow the story? So that's what I'm doing. It's a long form story, by the way. I have like 20 books planned. I'm a little insane, but I'm very excited to tell this story. I know it's going to be worth it. And book 2 is the reception for book 1 was really good, but I know this one looks even better. I've been improving on my art, and it's an even bigger book than book 1. It's like 20 pages more, so you guys are going to love it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I look at the art here and I think it fits the content perfectly. I was talking to Andy Smith about Cordrath, The Reckoning yesterday. We are promoting that, and it's
Mm.
fantasy. And again, this is fantasy, a little bit of fantasy stuff too, which
Ah.
I don't know anyone that doesn't love fantasy. You see, there's a desire for it in the marketplace, and
Yeah.
there's controversy right now with the Rings of Power and the House of the Dragon and woke stuff kind of ruining that. So I think you're hitting at a good time. I was telling Andy the same thing. I think you're hitting at a very good time culturally where this stuff, Dungeons and Dragons, Lord of the Rings, those kind of things are very popular with people. People love this sort of Tolkien-esque fantasy stuff, the Dungeons and Dragons kind of thing. I think it's great. And we know with you, we're not going to be getting woke nonsense. We're not going to
Oh,
be getting
no.
anti-left wing, anti-right wing, it's adventure. It's
Yeah.
relatable if you're human. So if you're human, you are the perfect customer for this. So
Yes.
that's the
Yes.
only caveat. This book is not good for dogs to read or birds, but
Probably.
if you're a human, this will be excellent for you to read. So the bar is
Yeah.
set low. You know what I mean?
The
So
bar is set low. Well,
come
that
come
used to
on
be
in.
books. Yeah, that used to be what storytelling was about. You want your story to be accessible to everybody, but I will say, unless you're a crazy person who's triggered by, I don't know, like my story doesn't have, I don't know, enough like communist undertones or whatever, then you probably won't like this story. But otherwise, for 99% of the planet, this is just a human story, and
Right.
it's about dealing. It's about some characters dealing with mystery, and working through trauma is a big part of what the story is about. And I love the kind of story. I grew up loving not just fantasy, but mystery and horror. And I like horror because of how psychological it is. So what I want to do is kind of combine that. And I think when there is this sort of deep, mysterious horror involved in the story, that's when you can explore the human psyche the best. So that's kind of, I like to basically write and explore some fucked up shit, and that's what I'm here for. Read Fiendish,
Right.
everybody.
It's the most. I think you're exactly right. I think it's one of the most relatable human things is horror slash fear. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Fear is a sickness. That's from the movie Apocalypto. I heard it there, and I loved when I heard that. You know, fear is a sickness, and
Yeah.
what ruins lives more than fear? You know, all fear is to me is faith, but it's faith in evil. That's what it is. It's a strong belief that evil's going to ruin your life. And fear
Mm.
comes out in such bizarre ways too. I think if you live a life of hedonism where you only love yourself and take care of yourself and you're very greedy and selfish, that's a form of fear. That's an outgrowth of fear because the fear there is, well, if I don't do everything I want all the time, will I be miserable? You know, so
Yeah.
fear is really just terrible. And I think when you have elements of horror and fear in stories, that is the hero's journey. Because you know the typical hero's journey: Beowulf, Gilgamesh, Luke Skywalker, Harry Potter. It's all the same. You have a young guy; he ain't much, and he gains some powers. But really, what he does the most is he overcomes fear. And all
Mm-hmm.
of us in life, you have to overcome terrible things. Horrible things happen in everyone's life from time to time. And you have to make a choice
Mm-hmm.
to be a man, to be a woman, and say, you know what? It is bad. I'm standing up anyway. I don't care. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And we know
Mm-hmm. Very
really in
well
your
said.
real life you did that when the dumbasses like Heather Einfeld and Mark Brooks try to go after you, there's a fear there, right? It's natural to like, well, maybe I shouldn't be comic skate or do any of that because what are they going to say and do to me? But you showed you're a woman of character. You said, you know what? No, I'm going to do what I think is right, not what I'm afraid of. And
Well,
that's
I'm not
it.
gonna compare what's going on with you, like Twitter drama and shit, with, I don't know, horrific deep Cthulhu monsters, but
Right,
that what you're saying is what they're trying to do. What
right.
the current authoritarians want to do is make you afraid of them. And
Uh-huh.
frankly, I just got tired of it. I see so many people bowing to that, and I've been feeling the pressure to bow to that for years and years, especially when I was working on Marvel, and I kind of just got sick of it. And I don't know, it's, in a way it was hard, but what I think I made a decision when I started drawing Fiendish, to that I wasn't, whenever I was faced with a large a conflict, like across, like a split in the past, so to say. I don't know how to put it, but I would make that decision based on what I wouldn't regret, and I knew I would regret it if I didn't do what was best for my comic, and if I didn't tell these people what I really thought, which is they're full of it. They don't understand. They don't understand the truth. They're frankly, I think a lot of the lackeys, and for lack of a better term, they're just misled. But people like Brooks, people like Antos, I think part of their motivation is evil, because they want to control people, they want to make people
Sure.
scared, and they want to manipulate people. So you know, if I'm in a place to not put up with that, then I'm not going to, because there's still a lot of people that are afraid of being canceled from the mainstream, and
Right.
they're the ones living in fear. So if we can stand up to that, then we should lead the way.
Oh, absolutely. You're absolutely right. And you do. You do by making this art and not putting up with their crap. And
Err.
I would agree, people, because like you know, you start coming out like very publicly with comics, and you said Mark Brooks, like he's sending you private messages, or Heather Antos, or both, right? Like, oh, I can't believe someone I knew is now a Nazi, or just what like this pedantic, melodramatic nonsense that they post. It's actually quite hilarious to me. But
Oh god,
is
no.
that what happened, or am I getting that wrong? You
No,
started
no,
getting that
no.
too?
Neither of them directly DM'd me. Brooks
Oh,
publicly tweeted at me saying that, oh, I need to be careful of these people,
right,
and I'm too good for Comicsgate, and then I'm making the wrong decision, all this really condescending shit. And
right,
the same day Antos was going on about her, like, I didn't think she was talking about me at first, frankly, but she was saying, oh, an old friend she used to work with who was like suddenly aligned with Comicsgate. She's so heartbroken, and that same exact day, like couple hours later, I got my first Marvel night letter from somebody that I used to know in the industry. And
right,
they were like, oh, I heard you're associating with Ethan Van Sciver, and I'm sure this is just a mistake, but you can reverse on this now and clarify your real position and save your career.
right,
And essentially, I was like, "Fuck that! Why would I do that?" Also,
right,
where were you? Like the person messaging me and Antos and Brooks and all these people, and I've had and a couple of other people I knew from mainstream comics who flipped out and were just like clutching the pearls that over me associating with Comicsgate. They weren't there to support my book. They didn't even back my book. They haven't been like if they had been following me, if they really were my friends, where were they this past entire year? I have
right,
been streaming with you guys, and it's not like it was the first time I was ever on an Ethan stream. Where were they when I've been working on Fiendish for like 4 years, and that's not even to get into the political side of it because obviously they don't really know me. They don't know that I hate this woke shit, and I'm not an
right,
insane socialist. So, some great friends you are.
right. Yeah, I mean, where were they giving you all kinds of work and support and retweeting your stuff? You see, in Comicsgate, we do that. I've tweeted plenty of your stuff. I invited you on today to sell this book.
Yeah.
So, guys, the link is in the chat or in the description for this book. You need to check it out. You will love this book. It's about heroism, and this is done by a high-level artist. I've worked as a professional for
Oh.
20 something years, and I know good art when I see it and good writing when I read it. And oh, this is internalized self misogyny, by the way. Don't you
Yes. Yes.
understand? Don't you
Yeah,
No,
I
it's
know.
actually called beauty, and that's all it is. And art is supposed to be
Right.
beauty. Right.
Yep,
So,
yep,
so
yep. Yeah, this whole like internalized misogyny stuff or just female beauty is apparently misogynist. That's so
right,
stupid to me. Female beauty is powerful and there's nothing wrong with that. And let me tell you, Ragna, my busty magic girl here, she's an awesome character. She's I mean, I love all my main characters. I have like a set of 4 leads. My obviously Casimir is a protagonist, but I kind of have like this set of like 4 of them have they're all leads in their own ways. They're the core characters. But anyways,
right,
like Ragna is she's very competent and she's highly educated and she's hella powerful. She's one of the best at her craft, but she's also a flawed character. She has a bunch of personality problems, and I love writing her. This is how you actually write good, well written, strong female characters, which apparently Hollywood doesn't know how to do anymore. And I guess mainstream comics as well, because they think women have to act like men and cover up or some shit. Either they have to cover up and not be women, or they have to act like men to be strong. And that's bullshit.
right. Absolutely. Yeah, and I would say our backgrounds personally. My father's from Libya, and he escaped a socialist dictatorship. They murdered my grandfather, murdered my dad's friends just for speaking against Gaddafi's regime there. You
Oh
are
my god.
Taiwanese, and there's a
Yes.
little bit of longing for freedom there too. So we have that in common
Yeah.
in our ethnic backgrounds, and then we have it in common artistically, where you and
Hmm.
I say to these big, powerful companies, nah, you guys are full of shit and I'm not doing this stuff with you. It's,
Nah.
by the way, it's disgusting. So I don't do disgusting things. And you can kick
Hmm.
rocks because when you have art this good, you don't need them. You know what I mean? All you need to do is be great to your customers and be easy to work with any collaborators you work with. And there you go. You write your own ticket. Oh, there she is.
Here
There she,
I am.
yeah, we were
Also,
talking before the
Anita.
show that she's a lady. She's got to put her face on a little bit in the morning.
Yeah.
Give her a
Yeah.
break, guys.
I didn't have my
Give her a
face
break.
on. I want to fresh.
Yeah,
Here's my fresh
yeah.
mascara. Okay. Now,
I,
now we
as a
now we can
male,
start the show.
as a misogynist male, I oppressed her and I told her
You
all I had to
did.
do was splash water on my face and then come on camera. So that's right. That's right. As is my right
Societal,
as a man.
soci-
As a man.
societal pressures keeping me down.
Oh, I told her. I sent her an email and said, "Do not come on my
Mhm.
show without your face covered. We don't let women do that because we oppress women around here.
Not
We're totally
allowed.
not promoting them and selling their beautiful book. We're oppressing them."
Rightly so. Rightly
Right.
so.
But yeah, so I heard Edward R. Murrow, the great reporter back in the 50s, and he has this quote like, "We are not descended from fearful men." And I think about my dad and my grandfather fighting in World War II, and I think about generations going back, thousands of years of men and women that are in my bloodline and yours and everybody's here today. You're descended from fighters. You're descended from people who stood up to tyrants, big or small, whatever they may be, wild animals, diseases that now we can cure with the pill that used to kill people. You've been given so much blood from your ancestors. You kind of don't have a right to be a coward and be a piece of crap and capitulate and give up on this great world they've given us. Too many people have died for us all to be here and have air conditioning, and filtered
Right.
water. Like that stuff wasn't free. So I'm proud of anyone like Rini, like David Williams, I work with on Truth, Justice, American Way, Ethan Van Sciver, all the guys. I'm very proud of these people would stand up. And I'll show you, like a scarecrow filled with sawdust, you have dumbasses like this. That's Tom Taylor. Tom Taylor is a dollar store Fred Durst. And then we got Mark Brooks. And this is how it started. Come at us, bro, right? Oh, and they got this fat dummy behind them. He's like Warner Brothers private security. And so that's how it starts. And then you do something like this, and then he peed his pants and ran away crying. So
that was so silly. I mean, it wasn't like, first of all, we're not even going to get into the history of there were literally mainstream pros threatening to start a fight with somebody in Comicsgate,
right.
over politics. Like that's old history, but this wasn't even that situation. You went by his table
I'm literally, you see it. My wife and I are walking out of the convention hall. I'd been hanging out, talking to friends, having a good time. We're going to go get lunch or something. And I'm like, oh, I'll see if he's here because I want to challenge him to a debate. That's not illegal or harassing or threatening. You are allowed to ask people in public if they'll debate. You can ask them. They could say.
But also, he was saying that he was saying, "Come by his table." You're allowed to
I speak, read, and understand English. That says "come at us." And he said, "Bro, I'm a bro. I got two brothers."
I'm so confused.
So no, it's real funny to be a tough guy on the internet. But then if someone wants to talk to you and says, "Okay, well, we're men, let's talk about it," and then you pee everywhere. But then the worst part is telling everyone how you peed everywhere. That's not a good look, Mark. You got to quit that.
That's this thing where I think a year ago I still wanted to be nice. I was like, we can talk, even when we have different politics, and I do still think so. But comes a point where, okay, these people deserve to be mocked because what they do is this whole idea of victimizing themselves. And let me just tell you, it's not a good look, especially when you're a grown man trying to damsel yourself.
Right.
Try to not do that. That doesn't work. It might work if you're a pretty white girl and you're on the internet and you get everybody and you're like, oh my God, I'm being oppressed and these hateful fans are coming after me. But if you're like a grown ass man and you're like, oh, I feel so oppressed, they're harassing me. Dude, it doesn't work. All right?
No.
You're pathetic. Grow a pair.
Well, and it's also, I'm just going to say, and I never talk this way because I'm not an SEO, it's also racist. Because it's like to say stalking and harassing and unhinged. I don't see those words when it was a white guy arguing with you. You know what I mean? And it's like, I know there's a little something there when you're Arab. I do. And I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to back down from that. I do know that that's there. That is one thing that people don't want to talk about. I'll take the liberty of saying our side. I don't really know your politics, Rini, but I know you're not woke. You may be a liberal, Democrat, whatever, conservative. I have no idea.
Right.
I don't care.
And that's what's important. Like that's the current authoritarians. That's the common enemy. So honestly, I think I think Comicsgate generally leans right, but that doesn't really matter that much. I know there are people who are liberals, there are Democrats, and what unifies us isn't everybody being on the right side or having one kind of politics. It's that we want freedom. And I'm sorry, but the woke skulls, they're anti-freedom. They're the authoritarians right now. And that's what matters. They're the people that need to be taken down.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's what unites this whole thing is it's freedom. It's liberty. It's like, you want to make a book and you don't want some moral scold telling you can't do that because XYZ shit I learned at the community college sociology class. Like, I don't really care what those idiots taught you at the college. I have a college degree. I was on the president's list, the national dean's list. I had scholarships, near straight A's for 4 years, University of Northern Colorado. I will give my diploma back to the school for $1,000 cash today if they contact me. I don't care about it. It's stupid. It was a waste of time and money. If I was going to be an artist, I really didn't need to go to school. Worked for some people, I didn't need it. So whatever. But I know they're just like indoctrinating people now. We're not going to get into that, Jag, but everyone knows that. Trying to course correct here and sell people this book and not sell anger. Sorry.
No, it's fine. There's a lot to talk about. There's been a lot going on, and
well,
I don't know.
It's a fine line because the book is beautiful. It's obviously so well executed, but there is a context to it that is political, and we kind of can't ignore it, you know. And like you said, I wanted to be nice so we can get along. We have a difference of opinion. You cannot get along with people that want to end your career, Rini, that want to ruin you financially and socially. You can't get along with people like that.
Yeah, that's what I realized, you know, and I generally don't like fighting on Twitter, or I'm not a very confrontational person, but you know, when you're coming for my career, and not just that, you're coming for my friends, you're making my friends afraid to speak out and you know, speak the truth about what they see that's happening in comics and entertainment, and speak out that they agree with Comicsgate. That makes me angry, and I'm not going to back down. There comes a point where, you know, I don't have to like fighting, but you started the fight. I think they're oppressing people,
right?
And so, you know, there's I don't. There's a line, and
right.
I don't want to put it with that anymore.
I met Mark Brooks in the DC Comics green room. That's a secret upstairs room of catering and a relaxing place for DC freelancers and editors at the San Diego Comic-Con. It's upstairs. It's hidden. It's a hidden place. I met him there once, shook his hand, and said hello. It's the only time I ever talked to the man in my life, like 6-7 years ago. So I don't have a history with him. I don't know the guy. But then I just see him banging the drum on Twitter, calling my friends Nazis and bigots and homophobes and all this stuff. And whatever, name calling is stupid. I don't really care about that. But I do care insofar as what is his intention here and how could it affect my friends professionally, financially. If that stuff gets out there enough on the web, then it can become true in people who are not involved in minds. They can just go, oh, Ethan, I heard he was a white supremacist, right?
Yeah, that has happened so many times.
Irene, I heard Irene, she's like a weird homophobe or something. And people can just believe it because, you know, confirmation bias, right? So,
well, yeah, they think if they say it enough times, and, you know, they keep in mind they also have power and influence that's derived from their position at these giant corporations. So to put it in perspective, I think people should realize that people are kind of blinded by any accusation of, oh, this person's a bigot, this is racism, and Americans are really sensitive to that. So once they hear that, they just knee jerk want to virtue signal and declare that, oh, I'm totally against that. If you say they're a bigot, then they're a bigot. Okay, I have nothing to do with them. But we have to move past that. And I think we're at that point where regular people are realizing that a lot of these accusations are bullshit, because everyone's kind of getting tired of half the country being called bigots and hateful. But keep in mind that, speaking of all these mainstream creators, they have power and influence, and they have media connections, and they're using that power to punch down at indie creators, and that's what's really happening. So put that in perspective and think about that next time. Anyone here who's listening to this who is coming from that side, just do a little more research and think about the fact that these are people who are punching down on indie creators, and they're trying to mess with our business. They're saying that there's this weird narrative of, a lot of them say, well, Comicsgate's work is all shit. But then when somebody's work is not terrible, they come out and say, well, you're too good for Comicsgate, you don't deserve this, or whatever. Like, they said that Mark Brooks was saying that to me, and I'm like, that's really weird, because weren't you saying that Comicsgate is all terrible? So now you're telling me that my work is too good for Comicsgate? That makes no sense. And also, like, they're at the same time, he's saying, like, Ethan's work and Malin's work is terrible. Like, that's objective, and your work is not professional. That's complete bullshit. We are professionals. Just because we don't work for mainstream DC or Marvel doesn't mean we're not professional level artists. So it's this weird, they just want us to fail because they see us as enemies, and they are against creative freedom, and they're terrified of anyone speaking out against the control that these large corporations have in breaking free. That's what it really is.
Yeah. I do think that it reminds me of the personality of like a bratty preschooler. Like you're over here playing with your blocks and they're over there playing with theirs, and they look over you and tell you you're doing something wrong. And it's kind of like, you mind your own business. Like you don't control the universe and what everybody's doing. There's plenty of stuff out there I don't like. Like I hate seafood. I just hate it. I don't spend my days in front of Red Lobster with the picket sign saying that everyone who eats here is an asshole and this place should be out of business. Go. I don't care. Have your lobster fest, your unlimited crab legs. I don't give a shit. I don't like it, but I'm not going to stop you. And it's kind of like, well, then the retort to that would be, well, why are you mad about the woke stuff and all that? It's like, well, I'm not stopping them from doing it. I just said, I'm not going to do it. Be my guest, go out of business, have low sales. That's sad. You know, this is a beautiful American art form. You're ruining these legendary companies, but I'm not trying to stop you, but I'm definitely going to make fun of you because it is stupid. So, hold on. Super chat, and we'll get to you. Barrett X for $5. Thank you. Very generous, friend. You've been seeing my drawings, Gabe, so you know I've probably come a long way to go. Oh, I've a long way to go, but I intend to get there. Standing on the shoulders of giants, you can go anywhere. Absolument, as they say in French. Oh, Rini, I wanted to connect with you on this. ¿Tú estudiando español ahorita? ¿Por qué?
I'm going to just answer in English because my Spanish is really not that good. So basically, my whole team on Fiendish, they're all Hispanic and they're Colombian. And so both of my colorists and my kind of editor, my good friend from college that I've been working with on Fiendish behind the scenes is my trading card artist. She's not Colombian, but her husband is Colombian. They're like my old friends from college, and they live there. But also, I have a lot of Hispanic followers because of an old drawing I did when I was 16 that blew up on the South American internet. It's really funny. And
you have it handy?
Yeah, I can show you. I don't know if anyone here would recognize it, but it was really apparently really big on like the Latin American internet about in the early 2000s. And a lot of people have found me since then and follow me. So I'm slowly learning Spanish, slowly but surely. I'm really
excited to see this drawing. I really hope this can be misinterpreted as right-wing racism, this drawing. I really hope so.
Oh, we'll see about. I don't think so. I think this would be. It would be.
I just hope it's a Mexican in the sarape with the sombrero, sleeping under a cactus.
No,
I don't want to work right now. Estoy cansado.
Yeah, see, like when you say, I generally understand what you're saying, but I'm really bad at answering right now. I need to practice more. But I'm going to Colombia in like a couple weeks, so I'll get some practice in. Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
I want you to check out this guy's YouTube channel, Kurt Kaz. I randomly found it a month and a half ago. He's like a 24, 25-year-old white boy with blonde hair from South Africa. And he loves traveling, and he was dirt poor when he started, but his channel has like over 1 million subs now. And he fell in love with Mexico. His videos from 2 years ago, he's like translating on his phone, but he's been in Ecuador, Colombia, Mexico, Puerto Rico, all over. And I don't think he's left Venezuela. He's been there for over a year. And I see him on Instagram like rapping in Spanish now, and he's totally fluent. He's gone full native, the guy. He's so charming. Great. He's so funny. He does it on a shoestring budget, and he doesn't go touristy. He goes deep into the barrios and the neighborhoods, talks to the real people, gets a haircut for 50 cents from the local barber, and he just makes South America look amazing. So, awesome. You know, I'm half Mexican, so I have heritage there. I go to Mexico sometimes. Yeah, you should check out Kurt Kaz if you're going to South America. I'll put a link for that. Everyone should sub to this guy's channel. He's one of those people like Guy Fieri, where he loves everyone and everything, and he's nice to everyone, and he's just excited about everything. It's really cool, and it comes across as authentic. It's not that phony like kind of enthusiasm, you know. So I love his stuff. Yeah. I love Kurt Kaz, but yeah, Colombia. That sounds very exciting.
Yeah. I've got to. Hopefully, I'll be going back more often now that we're allowed to travel again, and I'm trying to learn Spanish and Japanese, so. That's my goal. I'm going to be fluent in Spanish and Japanese.
Very cool. Now, you already know Chinese, right?
Yeah, I speak Mandarin.
All right. Okay, yeah, because I don't know that. So there, I'm just throwing it up on the screen real quick. I put the link in the description for Kurt Kaz.
Okay.
This is an amazing YouTube channel. It's really fun. Him going to all these South America. He goes to Egypt. He goes to all kinds of places, but he must love South America. So you're headed to Colombia. He has a series of Colombia videos, so you can watch those and get a little feel for it before you go. So
Cool. Yeah, I'll check it out. I'll check
yeah,
it
he's
out.
really cool. Really cool.
That's cool.
Right. Okay. So did you? Oh, you found it. Let's see it.
There you go. Yeah,
Okay.
so
What is the context here for South America? Why would they love this? I don't know these characters.
I don't know. Okay, so the characters are just these. I was 16 when I drew this. This was literally in like 2006, and now everybody knows how old I am.
Ooh.
But it's fine. Everybody already knew that. But this was, I think I drew this for a Christmas card at my high school because I was in. This is like the most weeby shit ever. I was in anime club, and we were holding an event to sell Christmas cards at school. So I drew up something really quick, and I was pretty active on DeviantArt back then. That was like my first intro to posting my art online and sort of like finding an art community because like a lot of people, I was one of like two kids at my school that I was like the kid who drew, and there was nobody else around me to share my passion with. So that's how that was what the internet was for, and I loved it. DeviantArt's gotten kind of weird, but back then it was really great. So, anyways, I posted this on DeviantArt. Apparently, it blew up on the South American internet, and a lot of people did a bunch of edits for it. It became really popular because I guess emo culture was really big, especially in South America back then. I didn't even know until I came to college, and I think I graduated college before someone tracked me down online and was like, "Hey, you're the artist who drew this piece." So there you go.
Very cool. And now, personally to you, before it blew up for South America, this piece, what exactly does it mean to you? Does it have a name even, or was this just? I know you were explaining it, but is there a bigger story, or is it just a cute illustration?
It's just a cute illustration. I've since
Okay.
named the characters because I did a redraw, and every
Okay.
few years I do a redraw because my art's been improving. So it's kind of a fun thing where, yeah, I redraw the characters and people really like that. So,
All right.
yeah. But if I was smart and I had more of a business mind, I'd like do a comic strip based off of them. I bet that would do really well. But
Right.
I should do that. I should do
Yeah.
that. But I'm too focused on Fiendish right now. Yeah, there really it's not. It really wasn't any story. I named them Tio and Nia, so that's their names.
Okay. Okay. Right. Oh,
I
very
know this
cool.
is like icky cutesy emo stuff.
No,
So
that's okay. As long as art is well done, I'll appreciate it. You know what I mean? It may not be a genre I love, but if it's well done, like, okay, it's well done. There's no denying it. So I like this. You said you were going to learn Japanese and Spanish. Domo arigato, senor roboto.
that I know. I guess that is like a mashup. What would you call that? Japan,
Japanish.
Japanish,
Yeah, I guess so.
Span Japanish.
Right.
Very nice. Very
Oh,
nice.
okay. Now we talk. I love this. I love what's about to happen on this show because yesterday I talked to Andy Smith about maps because he's doing a fantasy world very similar to Conan the Barbarian. And
Yeah.
I love maps. My mom had the Thomas
Mm.
Guide in the car when I was a little kid, and I would just pour through it. I've been married almost 26 years, and my wife has bought me many times for birthday, anniversary, just like a side gift, like a stocking stuffer. The Thomas Guide map. I love maps. I have maps. My daughter got me a map of Las Vegas, one of my favorite towns. I love maps so much. I don't know why. I always have. I used to draw worlds and maps and all that. I think it has something to do with being creative and liking building worlds. You know what I mean? I think there's something about that. And I think you like maps too. Can people get a map
Yeah.
with Fiendish? That it says world map print. What's going on? Is it a stretch goal or
Yes.
what's going on? And do you love maps? And why do you love them so much?
I do. So, where to start? Um, I do really like world building and I suppose maps, but also I've had this weird fascination with sort of like structural drawings, like architectural cutout drawings and stuff. And I think it started out with uh, I I got Dinotopia when I was like
Oh,
6 or 7, and it just absolutely fell in love with it. And if you guys have seen Dinotopia, I have the book here by the way, if you want me to flip through it. But it's it's um it's written and illustrated by James Gurney, who's this like National Geographic oil painter. He paints recreations of dinosaurs, what dinosaurs look like for like National Geographic and scientific magazines and stuff like that.
Right.
But he just really loves dinosaurs, and he's an amazing painter. And he just decided to paint a fantasy book. As if it was telling the tale of like a 19th century explorer and his son who was shipwrecked on this lost island, and on this island dinosaurs still exist and cohabit with humans. So all the humans on this island are descended from people who were shipwrecked there, and they live alongside dinosaurs, and like some of the dinosaurs are quite intelligent, so they can write, they like have a society living alongside humans as equals. And like it just I love dinosaurs when I was little. I've just loved dinosaurs since I was like 2 years old, and that captured my imagination so much. And the book, there was a map in it with like all these locations, and the explorer just went around the island going to all these different locations with all these like fantastic architecture. And I love looking at how Gurney designed these buildings and cultures to look like you could see the real world influences, but because it was all people from all over the globe that were shipwrecked on this island, it was kind of a mishmash of different cultures, and that really got my imagination going. And then a lot of like the buildings, I remember he would have cut open like diagrams of the buildings, because they would have these buildings that were special made for dinosaurs, like a dinosaur hatchery. So like extra tall buildings with like extra tall chairs for dinosaurs to sit on while they were like resting and giving birth, and then a hatchery for little eggs, and like how like the egg area was kept warm with like a fire system underneath, and like all that was like designed out and thought out. So that got me just really obsessed with like how to build things, how things work underneath the surface. And that and some other books that I don't remember what they were called, what who drew them, but it was all these like illustrated children's books that I had that really got me going as a kid. So yeah, I like maps. I've always like really detailed world building things.
Right.
Another artist that I was really into was probably a lesser known artist. He's an American painter called Charles Wysocki. And he does these paintings, really detailed isometric view paintings of old Americana. And so when I was little, like I grew up in Taiwan. I didn't live in America until I was 17. I moved here for college. So like that in my mind growing up, that was my view of this is what old Americana was like. And these really, his paintings were like these really quaint, illustrations of like the old frontier, or like these old farmsteads, and like pumpkin season, or like Halloween season, or the harvest, or winter, and like just like whimsical old American life and stuff. And there's just like little things hidden all over the place. You'll have to pull it up to see it. But Charles Wysocki,
I found some here.
There you yeah like that.
Yeah. I love his color palette, first of all. But the isometric design is great. It reminds me of Chris Ware, the great cartoonist who puts out a book every 10 years. The Acme Novelty Library, some of the best comics ever made. Chris Ware does a lot of isometric perspective, which is fantastic. So, love that. Absolutely cool. But yeah, I think the love of maps has a lot to do with creativity and world building. Real quick, hold on. For 50 something, what is NOK? What nation is that? I don't know. Trencher 1375 for 50 knock. Don't know, but thank you.
I don't know. North Korean dollars?
Oh, yes. Thank you. From Kim Jong-un himself.
It's probably like 1 penny.
Okay. Fiendish one got here just today, and it was great. This is an easy back. Guys, that's customer feedback. I did not arrange that comment. Get this book today. Irene stood up to a bunch of weirdos that don't like any of you, no matter what your politics are, because they're petty little tyrants. They want to tell you what to think, say, and do. And there's nothing that could be less human than that. You don't control people's lives. You don't get to tell adults what they think and what they believe, and they're evil if they disagree. And she stood up to that nonsense, and she's got the goods as an artist. You know what I mean? It's one thing to stand up to this, but if your product is crap, it's crap, and people shouldn't pay for crap. I never would endorse that. So definitely check this out. I just want to, this is about you and promoting yourself, but I just want to show you. I have a fantasy book that I am working on for years with a friend of mine, and this is the world that I just drew and made up. And, and all of this is story-based. All these cities and capitals, and the orc people live here, and the jungle people live there, and the elves live here. And it's thought through with mountain ranges and different weather systems. And so that's hand drawn by me and then colored, in Photoshop and all that. I love
Mhm.
maps. I love them so much. So
Yes, it's so much fun though. It's
I
so
don't know
much
what it
fun.
is. I just love them. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I know it's Norwegian krona. Okay.
Right. Oh,
Norwegian.
Norwegian kroner. I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire in Norwegian kroners.
Yes.
That's what I'm going to say. Lou Capadona. I stopped reading comics years ago when they became political for manga. I backed Fiendish, Truth, Justice, American Way, and Ice. I'm excited for actual fun and escapism and quality art. Lou, thank you so much. It's
Thank
you
you.
guys that back. You make our dream come true, and we get to go back to being those little kids who just loved drawing. There's something
Yeah.
about an illustration that just tickles my brain. It just gives me so much joy. I would do this for free, and I did. Most of my childhood growing up until I became a professional. So we just love doing this, and the money you guys so graciously give us because the economy's tough. You saw the stock market the last few days; it took a shit, that thing, and you give us this money so we could be pure artists. So we could say, I want to write this, I want to draw this because it means something to me, not because Heather Antos intimidated me into putting identity politics into a book so I could keep my employment with her for those poverty wages at IDW, by the way. No, you guys are patrons of the arts here, and you let us be real artists and do our best work. And then you guys get to enjoy so much pleasure when you read it because this is pure self-expression. So thank you so much. So it's so important. It really is. It really matters.
Yeah.
Here's a comment. I'll let you go. I'm sorry. What I liked about Fiendish was that it was focused on mystery and action, even though it had interesting characters as well. Action is what Marvel and DC lack nowadays. Ugh, you're so right. But go ahead, Rini. It sounded like you were trying to say something.
Oh no, I was just agreeing with you and saying, yeah.
Oh, okay. You're gonna be like
What's
my
up?
hype. You ever see Public Enemy, Chuck D and Flavor Flav? Do you know who these people are?
No.
Oh, this is back in the 80s and 80s and 90s. Let me see. I just you have to see it to know what it is. What
Okay.
you know what a hype man is, right?
Oh yeah, I know.
Right. So in
I
Public
won't.
Enemy, there's this guy Flavor Flav, and he would always wear like clocks around his neck. Like he was a very eccentric fellow. And
Mhm.
here he is right here in the white jacket. He has like a full clock, and the guy in the red, Chuck D, would be rapping and doing the song. And a lot of times, Flavor Flav, he would rap too, but a lot of times his job was to be like, yeah, like in the background. So if you can do that and be a hype woman, that'd be great. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
There
I
you
could do
go.
it.
There you go.
Hmm.
Oh man, I guess I am older. I'm referencing a band, and you don't even know who they are. Goodness.
No, I'm just a foreigner. That's all. It's
There
not
you
you.
go. Right. Yeah, boy. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah. Okay. See, the chat knows who Flavor Flav is. So, yeah. I think it'd be freeing to be a rapper because you could just have a nonsense name and say all kinds of nonsense rhymes and dress like a lunatic. And people
Mhm.
don't care. People actually love it. So I guess
Yeah.
not just a rapper, but I guess a rock and roller, any kind of musician. You can kind of be
Yeah.
out there.
I don't know. I think all artists should kind of have that spirit, right? It's about not just self expression, but it's about creating and communicating and not kind of giving a shit about what society thinks to a certain extent. So I think that's lost. And I think it's kind of pathetic where, especially in comics and a bunch of other kinds of entertainment, animation, television, that sort of spirit of freedom is lost. So
Yeah.
I think that's what we're doing here.
Right.
Take
Yeah.
it back. How do
Yeah.
you can't create something if you're constantly worried about coloring within the lines. That's not how art is made.
No, you're right. It's about trial and error. And that's how we progress. We don't progress by saying, well, if you write this or draw this, you're racist. We progress by testing the boundaries, questioning them, saying, is that true? I know we think it's true, but why don't we test? It could be true. Maybe it is, but let's test it anyway. And I
Yeah.
think that's actually strangely very scientifically minded. Because if you think about Nikola Tesla and all the great, inventors and
Oh
people who
yeah.
made great discoveries, they questioned things. They saw something
Hmm.
and said, "Why does that do that?" Okay, I'm going to set up an experiment and figure it out. And art and storytelling can be the same way. Like I want to say this about people. I want to say this about myself or about life. Well, what's a good way to say it? Okay, I'm going to try all kinds of stuff. Some will be bad, some will be good, but we'll only find the good by getting through the bad.
Yeah. It's
So
high risk, high reward. I think that's how innovation is made. And I get that not everybody who does art can be a rebel, but when everybody in the entire industry is terrified of trying anything new, well, you stagnate. And that's what we're seeing right now.
right. And I don't know if you still get messages, but I do. I get private messages by huge names in this businesses, and they're
Oh, yeah?
congratulating me on my success, and they are pissed off about Superman, and they
Mm.
hope they can step out one day, but they wife, kids, mortgage. Like, I kind of get it. I would say I didn't say anything after Trump got elected. Everything changed. People went insane in our business. And I
Hmm.
think it was cowardly of me to not say anything and just go along with it for a while, just kind of gritting my teeth doing this stuff, shaking my head like, what in the world are we doing? And
Hmm.
for me, it got to a point almost a year ago. It was mid-October, so I guess I'm coming up on my 1 year anniversary of just telling them to shove off, as it were. And I do think it was cowardly to not say anything. So I'll call myself on that, and I call myself on that first because I do think the guys that message me this and that, you're being cowards. You need to say something.
Hmm.
It is that important because people want to lament all this weird, horrible stuff you see on the news, which we won't go into. Some of it pertaining to children, and you like, how do we get here? It's like, well, I think a big part of how we got here is through entertainment media. And when more patriotic, conservative, or just not woke people said, you know what, music is dirty, movies are dirty, we're not going to participate. We're not going to teach our children and our people how to make art because that's all filthy Hollywood. You ceded creativity to those kind of weirdos for about 40, 50 years now.
Hmm.
It wasn't always dirty, movies and music. It wasn't always twerking and clothes so tight you could see what the woman is thinking. Like, it wasn't always like that. We had It's a Wonderful Life, My Three Sons, Donna Reed. We had stuff that was uplifting and patriotic and really exemplified the best in humanity instead of just the worst. And when you walk away from art and say that's for dirty weirdos, you gave it all over to them. So I think it's important for us now to make stuff like Fiendish, like Truth, Justice, and all these great things we're making that just reinforce heroism and humanity and bravery. Because I do think politics is downstream from culture, and you lost
Hmm.
your culture by giving up on art. So we're taking it back now. We're not gonna change Marvel DC. Whatever, do what you want. We're going to make great art that inspires people about the best of humanity and why it's important to be resolute, strong, reliable, a man of your word, a woman of your word, and to stand up most of all in the face of fear. So I think this is an important endeavor. It isn't just comics, it's helping to influence culture, in my opinion.
Hmm. Well, what we have going for us is that it is so easy to create a comic with just one or two people, and that's what's much harder with all the other mediums. And I think that's why, like what Eric July was saying, of all the controversial shit he's done, making his comic, he's gotten the most backlash for
Right,
Rippaverse. And why do you think? Well, it's because he's actually doing something. They're afraid of
right,
seeing essentially a parallel industry that is successful, that the fans want to see, that people support taking off outside of their control. And I also want to preface this by saying, I don't really like talking about politics, and Fiendish isn't political.
it's not
All I want, yeah, it's, and I don't think any Comicscape books are outright political. You have some patriotic books, but very few are outright political. That's not what we're about. What we are about is not indoctrinating people. I'm not trying to indoctrinate anybody. I'm trying to tell a good story, and I'm tired of seeing books and shows that do try to indoctrinate people, that want to
right.
subvert existing stories like Tolkien. I'm a big Tolkien fan, so I'm not happy about what's going on right now. I'm not going to get into it, but if you get me started, I will not stop. And it's this idea of everything needs to be subverted and changed to fit this new ideology. Why can't we just have good entertainment anymore? Why can't we just have it's like these people are so entrenched in their point of view, they don't even know that they have an ideology, that they're creating propaganda and not entertainment.
Right,
And it's weird and it's really sad to see, but all I want to do, and I think all we're trying to do, is to break free of that and
right,
not indoctrinate people. This is just, well, let's make comics entertaining again. Let's do what manga is doing. Why do you think manga is so successful? It's
right.
because they put the customers first and the story first.
What is Chainsaw Man's politics? What is Berserk Guts from Berserk? What's his politics? No one knows. No one gives a shit. He's a hero and he kills bad guys. That's universal, right? That's it. Like Guts is standing up to terrible.
Both of them a little debatable on that, but in general, yes.
But you get my point, though. Like the point of the story, the meat in the sandwich is good guy, evil stuff, kill evil stuff, and that's like okay, that's the point of it. You can mention things, sure, but hammering people over the head, telling them they're Nazis because they disagree with you. Holy shit! Stop it, guys. It's so dumb already. So
yeah, I think sometimes
manga's eating American comics lunch.
Yeah,
not even close.
So why do you think I don't even like? Why would you not look at what they're doing and consider perhaps we should reflect on what mistakes we're having? No, instead the current approach is by somehow logicalizing that, well, manga also reflects on our own success because it's still comic sales. No, it's not. It's not American creators. It's a different industry. Okay, calm down.
Crazy. I'm always reminded when they keep trying to hammer this SJW stuff into all the TV, movies, and comics of this meme with Principal Skinner. It's like, am I out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong. It's like, no, it's you. It's you.
Yes.
It's like, oh, they don't like the She-Hulk TV show. They're wrong. That's one of the beauties of doing these independent books is right now we have fans in the chat making all kinds of comments, suggestions, and you can alter your products, alter your campaign slightly. People say, you know what? We like t-shirts. Okay, I'll add t-shirts. Someone suggested to me, because we had a 3-pack of Truth, Justice, American Way signed. And someone said, well, I want 3 signed and 3 unsigned so I don't have to mess with the signed ones. I could just put them away and keep them safe. So I added that off of a fan suggestion. I've sold packs of those now, not just one. Well, someone said to me, and it was kind of obvious after he said it, so why don't you have one of everything? So I added that, and we sell those. And it's so great to interact with your fans like that and give them good customer service. So that's an aspect of this that I love, So.
That's another thing where I think many people in mainstream comics can't fathom having this level of interaction with their fans, and for some of them don't want to. I noticed a lot of them, and having been in the back rooms, like you said, and spoken to the pros after shows and stuff, and when people go out drinking, they're trashing on the fans. A lot of them they talk down to their own customers.
Oh my gosh! You may kiss my ring,
right? And because I realized to them, their priority is not the craft and it's not the customers or people buying the books, it's pleasing the company. So they're like, as long as they can kiss the right ass at Marvel or DC and they make their editors happy and they keep their jobs, they don't care about the fans. The fans are just plebs to them.
Right.
But that's not how it works around here. That would never float. If you fuck with the fans in comics game, you're out. So we actually have to respect the customer, which I think is correct. That's how you should do business.
What other way is there? I think I mentioned earlier, on my mom's side, we had a Mexican restaurant for 50 years in a tortilla factory. My dad's side, my dad's a gourmet chef. So when you're doing the restaurant business and the catering business, I mean, what is more personal than food that you're touching and then feeding to people? You know what I mean? And it's all about customer service. I've always been a very personal customer service person. I would hang out at my grandparents' Mexican restaurant when I was 4 years old because my brother was in kindergarten. I wasn't in school yet. So I'd kind of watch myself all day, watch cartoons in the back, get a little bit of food. But sometimes I would go out into the dining room of the restaurant, go to a table with a couple eating and just start eating their chips and salsa and talking to them. And they're like, hi, I'm Gabe. I'm just like, hi, I'm Gabe. What's your name? My grandparents own this restaurant. And
that's adorable. I love that.
Precocious. I've never been shy, in case you can't tell.
Right? So, I really can't tell. You seem so reserved.
No, I'm not. I'm not a shy person. I don't have stage fright. I don't get it, and it's one of the most common fears in the world. But I think it is just a genetic personality type. Because my daughter, who's very, very much like me, she's a stand-up comedian. And she she kills up there. She's professional now too. She's getting paid.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Congrats.
Yeah, and she's 25 now. She's been doing stand-up since she was sorry, there's a jet flying by.
It's fine.
Yeah. Well, it's Fighter Town, USA here in San Diego. We got Navy bases, we got a few of them Marine bases too. So occasionally you'll hear Can you hear it? The huge rumbling?
I heard a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and it set off a car alarm. But no, my daughter's been doing stand-up since she was 16. And she's 25
Wow.
now. So I think the
Mhm.
whole no stage fright thing, it's just a genetic thing.
Probably. That makes sense. A lot of these things are genetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I
And
think what's funny, my mom was an artist and my dad writes and he likes to read fantasy books. So I'm like it's sort of weird
right.
how that they never raised me to actually my mom was like typical Asian tiger mom. She wanted me to not do art, but I insisted. So yeah, some
Did
of
she
these
tell
things
you
are
that you were
genetic.
gonna be like broke and homeless if you did art?
Yes, it was worse. She's much better now. She's very supportive now. But when I was growing up, she didn't get it. Like she it was worse than just telling me I'd be homeless. She's like, "Well, you're an only child, so I'm gonna be starving because you won't be able to support me."
Oh,
Whatever.
the guilt.
It's the guilt is like this is an Asian childhood, but
Yeah,
she's
I
really
could just hear
supportive
the
now. So,
violin going. And
oh,
she's
tiny
saying, she's all,
violin.
that's fine if you hate your mother and father, and you
I
have to
guess you
draw
just
these
want your poor mother to starve and
uh,
die.
um, let's see. Ellie Munoz says Gabe was also 6 feet when he was 9. Pretty damn close. I was in 5th grade. I was 5'10", 160 pounds. I was already bigger than the teachers.
Wow.
So yeah. So I don't know. It could have something to do with height. It gives you a lot of confidence, I guess, being big. But when you're big like me, I'm 6'4". When you're big, you don't notice it most of the time. It's just normal to you. You know what I mean? You notice it when you get on an airplane and the seat is like this. You feel like you're in
Yeah.
a cocoon or something. But yeah, you do notice it in the world because it isn't typically built for men this big. Like when I come to a red light at a car, I have to go like this to see if it's going to turn green or red. I have to duck down. So it's a little
Yeah.
different when you're very tall because my head can touch, the top of my car or whatever. So, but
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know what we're going off on a bizarre tangent here about height. Are you? Oh, let me ask you. You look a little tall to me. Are you like 5'9"?
No, I'm not that tall. I'm 5'7".
Oh, okay. Okay. But
I'm
okay,
tall for an Asian
that's
girl.
tall for a woman, right? The
Yeah.
average woman is what, like 5'3", 5'4", something like that, or
I think like 5'5" is average
okay. All
American.
right, so it's a little tall, a little tall.
Yeah.
Were you
Especially
athletic? Were you athletic growing up? Were you
yeah.
what'd you do?
What's funny is I have really bad coordination, but I was a swimmer. I was a competitive swimmer up until high
Ooh,
school, and then I stopped because I chose to do art, and I did a lot of martial arts. It's again bad coordination, but
wait
I
a minute.
like sports. What?
Asian gal doing martial arts.
I
That makes
know,
me
shocker.
so happy.
I'm fulfilling all this here. Well, I'm bad
Yes,
at math, so there you go.
right.
That's
Bad at
I
math, but good
my
at
math.
what? Okay, good at
My
fighting.
math brain is from Poland, my Polish side.
Oh no.
Yeah, I like so I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't have like great coordination, but always had like a bit of a competitive spirit. I like sports, so I decided like, well, taekwondo and kickboxing was perfect because I don't need to have perfect coordination, and I play soccer, and I ended up playing the sweeper position because what
Okay.
all I had to do is I just stand there, and when the ball comes to me, I kick it, and I would kick it really hard. And I played on the guys team because in Taiwan, soccer is like a guys sport. There was no girls team, so it was like
Ooh,
me and one other girl, and everybody else was a guy. So in high school, I was playing soccer with the boys, and it's
wow.
fine because I was just as tall as all the boys in Taiwan, anyways. So yeah, that was fun. Got them
All
taekwondo
right.
legs still.
Yeah, I did swimming when I was like in 2nd grade. And I remember one of the mothers getting mad and telling my mom, "Is he really 7 years old?" Because of how big I was. They'd shoot the gun, I'd jump, and I'd be halfway across the little pool. I would win all the blue ribbons because I was just way too big. And I learned to swim when I was like 3 because we had a pool at my house. So I've
Hmm.
been swimming since I was a little kid. So I was a very good swimmer. But I was
Oh
also,
yeah.
twice the size of all the other little kids.
Oh my
So
gosh, that's
hey,
so
too
funny.
bad. It's genetics. I didn't cheat. So,
Too
too bad.
bad, too
Too
bad.
bad.
Yeah, I
Okay.
love swimming, man.
Yeah. Well, I love it too. Down here by I don't get to the beach enough. That's weird. That's a weird thing about living in San Diego. And I know it's most of the people here. People are not always at the beach. I mean, there's always people there, but you live here. I live just miles from the ocean and I do not get there enough. So maybe I need to incorporate more of that. I used to surf when I was young. When I was a high schooler, I'd be out there, on the waves, but it's been years since I went surfing. I think the last time I went surfing was like 2011 or something like that. So it's been quite a while. So it's been over an hour. I want to wrap things up, but I want you to give us another pitch on this. I like this. This is a wood burning. Wow. Are those being done by hand, each one, or do you have some sort of machine set up to like engrave these off of your drawing, or how does that work?
No, that's just it's called pyrography. And actually when I started out doing it, I started doing pyrography using just like a soldering iron, literally, because the first time I did it was on leather. I was learning leather crafting, and my leather crafting teacher was like, "Hey, you draw, right? I've done this before. I use the soldering iron to sign my work, and why don't you try drawing on the leather?" So I started doing that, and I was like, "Oh, this is really fun." So I started drawing on like the leather, wallets and stuff I was making. But anyways, then I started doing it on wood, and they actually have specialized tools where it's like this little module. You can control the heat, and there's a wire coming out to a nib that's like it's like an artist's inking nib, but it's wrapped in heat resistant material, and you can change out the nib to different types. It's exactly like working with like an inking nib, but it's heated, so the tip is like really really hot, and you burn the wood with your drawings. So
wow.
So yeah, these are all handmade. That's why there's only 20 of them. They're already sold out. I did demon plaques, like some somewhat smaller plaques for book 1, and I forgot to put a limit on it. I ended up having to do 60, so I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson.
Here's an important direct question for you. Will Fiendish 1 ship first, or do they get shipped together?
Oh, they get shipped together. If you order Fiendish 1 with this campaign, it gets shipped together. Because it would be too much on shipping if I split them.
Right. I sense a little understandable impatience there. Lou wants his book right away. Lou, you're gonna have to wait till the second one's done. And sorry, just how it is.
Sorry. It'll be worth it, I promise.
What have we unlocked? We've got a trading card at 20K. That's done. Trading card 2, trading card 3. Winning piece of Fiendish 2 fan art competition will be printed in the comic. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I have the details in the updates. So if you guys are interested in joining, go check the updates. The second update has all the information. It's due October 31st on Halloween. So you still have plenty of time.
Right. And if you want to know more about Fiendish and the characters and all that, there's fiendishcomic.com. That link is right there on the Indiegogo page too. I've been to that before. I think when I was helping you promote Fiendish 1, I think. So, yeah, absolutely. Okay, guys, this is a great looking book from a great gal. I want you to support it if you love an adventure, hero's journey, and something that's beautifully illustrated. Again, I've been at this for 20-something years. I know good art when I see it, and this is good art. I stand behind that. So I want you all to at least, would it be crazy to click the link in the description and consider buying it? At least click the link. Would that be too crazy? Of course not. So check out the link. I'd love to see more sales on this book. It's a fantastic book, and she deserves every bit of this success. Is there anything else you want to add before we get out of here? Because I gotta lift weights. I gotta work more on ISOM too. I got a lot of stuff to do today. So,
no, just thank you for having me on, and remember, we will not bow to the authoritarians.
There you go. Well said. And I don't think I could add anything else. Thank you, guys. Hit the like. Make sure you're subscribed. Share the link out on this. And it was a delight having you, Irene. We'll definitely have you back. And guys, I'm doing my shows Tuesdays and Wednesdays. We're having a lot of fun. Players Club, we geek out on art, like classic pencils and inks and all that. And then Wednesday night, Jericho Green, the huge Jericho Green, and Shanthan Jetty and I, we review 80s and 90s action. We just did Batman 1989. There's a playlist for that. Check those out. It's a really fun show. We go crazy on that show, laughing our heads off. We'll talk. I'll see you guys Monday on Kings. All right. Talk to you later.